Hey everybody. In my last video that I recorded a couple weeks ago where I talked about the allegations that Sarka Jemolkova leveled against me, I made sure that I wrote everything down. And I read a lot of it because I didn't want to forget anything important, the facts, the truth. And I saw a few comments where you were complaining that it was too scripted. So in this video I'm going to try and just stick to some of the talking points. Now, I wish I didn't need to address this, but the substance of these allegations are just too disgusting and too disturbing to ignore. Now, perhaps some of you don't remember Vitoria Chan. She was the owner of the now defunct blog. She wasn't really a big part of the online outrage as she was having a mental breakdown during all of this, and she was committed, and most of you saw it. But let me preface this by saying that Vitoria is a victim. All right, and she goes by, her real name is Victoria. She goes by Vitoria on Facebook, or back when this happened, it was Vitoria Chan. She has a Twitter account, Prometheus. I'm sure she has some other accounts that she uses. I can't keep up, but her real name is Victoria. And she was absolutely caught up in manipulation from some of the worst people I have ever met. One person in particular. And I bet if she watches this and she goes back through her messages, she'll find a common thread. And it's one person in particular pushing her towards this narrative. And here we have a girl fighting mental illness, drug addiction, convinced that I had harmed her, that I had manipulated her, groomed her, and then they convinced her to publish a blog with a sex video of two people she had never had any sort of sexual contact with at all. And they call me the monster. So remember the timeline. The last time I saw Sarka in Washington was January 2017. And then she filed the police report a year later in February of 2018, and then nothing until June of 2018. Well, this is what Victoria said in a Facebook video after she published the blog. The first media report that came out, first English, some small blog, posted a headline that said, "William Control accused of underage sex cult."
My history is constantly brought up. My history is constantly brought up that I'm mentally ill. William even, I had screenshots at one point and stuff, was basically saying that they couldn't trust anything I was saying because I was mentally ill. And you're true, you cannot trust anything I say because I'm mentally ill, and I appreciate that it might not stand into a court of law, but I need the court of public opinion.
I don't need the court of law, I need the court of public opinion. That blog later changed its headline to "William Control accused of BDSM sex cult," because there was zero evidence for an underage sex cult, and they didn't want to get sued. So let's back up. In her phone call to the police here in Washington and to the constable detective in London, she claims that I started talking to her, started grooming her while she was underage at 12 years old. 12. And that I had sex with her on multiple occasions. This is what she said to the police. Victoria related that she met William when she was 12 years old. Years later, he convinced her to have a BDSM, bondage, discipline, sadism, and masochism relationship. She said she allowed herself to become involved in this relationship with William because he was her idol, and that it turned into a cult-like relationship with him. Victoria believed that William was in either Federal Way or Tacoma when they voluntarily exchanged sexually explicit photographs. Victoria said she had sex with William on multiple occasions, but that this occurred outside of the United States. False. False. Fucking disgusting. In a Facebook post, she claims that I started grooming her when she was 14. would like to publicly restate that it is known to myself and many others that the artist known as William Control operates what can only be described as a sex cult that targets young, emotionally unstable women into becoming BDSM sex slaves. I started to get groomed into this cult when I was 14 years old and went through extreme mental and emotional problems until I was 17 years old. This led to many things from self-harm to drug dependency, even eventually getting sectioned, which means committed in England, going to an asylum. In reality, I met Victoria for the first time in 2012. I thought she was very nice. A few weeks later, she hit me up on Twitter and we exchanged a few messages. Nothing salacious. Obviously, she would ask my advice on a number of topics that ranged from relationship issues to music, which is not uncommon for me to answer these kind of questions with my fans. Perhaps I was too honest, too open. You know, she told the police that I made her call her master. Everybody calls me master. It's not uncommon. I can see now that just being nice to the mentally ill is not a mistake I'm ever going to make again. Now, at that time, I was dating a woman named Amy, who later changed her name to Amelia Frances Bell, I believe, which is odd. But Amy told me she had started talking to Victoria about sex and her boyfriends and all sorts of crazy shit. It was at this time that I learned Victoria was only 16, which is the legal age of consent in England, but not in America. I instructed Amy to stop communication with her altogether. I didn't want any sort of relationship with her and had not spoken to her for a while. 16 is fucking too young. Gross. A few weeks later, I found out that Amy and Victoria were still communicating, and I ended the relationship with Amy. So whatever they were talking about behind my back, I had no knowledge of. And I specifically told her to stop talking to this girl. And that was that. I didn't hear from Victoria again. I never heard from Amy again. But I didn't hear from Victoria again until her band opened for mine in late 2013 at the Boston Arms in London. I was cordial with her, we spoke a few words that night, and there was nothing strange about it at all. Obviously, because I never had any sort of relationship with her. If I had a relationship with her and I broke up with her, why would she open for my band at a show? That's so fucking out of this world. That doesn't make any sense. So here's the show flyer. November 2013 is when we played that show. In the police report, when she talked to the police, she claimed that I was violent with her that night. What the fuck? Okay, when was the last time you had contact with him? I think it was 2013. The last time I had contact with him was in person. I was 17 years old. I played a show supporting him. He was physically aggressive to me on that night. And that was in London? Yes, I'm currently in the process of reporting this to the London police. Okay. Yeah, that didn't happen. I have multiple witnesses that can say that never happened. I barely spoke to her that night. She opened for my band and they weren't even backstage. We had our own backstage room, and then that was that. I never heard from her again. That was the end of it. Her and Amy both disappeared from my world until 2018. So 5 years later, I start hearing that this young woman whom I've never had any sort of sexual encounter with at all is now claiming that I groomed her, that I had sex with her on multiple occasions, and that I'm the devil. Word? Online, she never says online that I had sex with her. She told the police that I had sex with her. Online, she says it was psychological abuse, that he groomed me. But to the police, she told the police that I had fucked her. Here's one of the posts shortly after this stuff started happening. I got some closure today. I went to church and prayed for the devil to be removed from William, because if he genuinely believes he is the devil, he needs Jesus. If he's innocent, he can go to the police and prove himself. I did. If he's mentally ill, we extend the hand of our principles of unconditional love to help you in any way we can. Addiction is a mental health problem. The opposite of addiction is connection. Go to rehabilitation and receive the help you need. You are addicted to abusing women. Mother Earth is pissed. She is empowering all people to take their stand against injustice. The shift is coming. Okay. Someone comments, the devil? I was on board till just now. She replies, William genuinely believes he is the devil. He told me. I don't know what to believe as I am mentally ill. She responds. Victoria responds again, I'm going through constant emotional psychosis. Jesus has been speaking to me. I don't know what's real. I want to go for a psychiatric evaluation. Wow. I watched as the women hiding behind anonymity push her to the forefront, convincing her this abuse was real, convincing her that she should publish the blog and that she should take responsibility for it.
The blog was my idea.
In another Facebook post, she writes, on reflection and discussion with the police, I will be voluntarily checking in to a mental health unit that specializes in CPTSD. I'm fully cooperating with the police and they are supporting me the best they can. Please pray for me. The content of the blog may be removed, but we will still be updating you on our opinions on consent and why we have acted in such a way. Now, Victoria started this blog, or was pushed into starting this blog, and taking credit for it. She was just one of the moderators, but she was institutionalized and then became embarrassing after all these posts to the other women involved, so they removed her as the moderator altogether. Here's a message from Victoria's family. This is why you need to make your own case against an abuser. William cannot win. Victoria is currently having a manic episode and has been advised to not have any contact with the press. She is extremely emotionally vulnerable after over 8 years of severe psychological abuse trauma. Okay, so that predates any meeting with me. She feels as if she is lost and is under 24/7 observation in a mental health unit that specializes in CPTSD. If you would like to contact her, please do not gaslight her, or instead just act proactively. She is at extreme risk of suicide and has been showing symptoms of CPTSD, bipolar 1, ADHD, and Asperger's syndrome. Here's what she posted while she was inside the institution. My mood is not regulated. You can give me all the olanzapine you have, but it won't treat the disease of addiction. It just kicked off how much I want morphine and crack. I want to party. Let's smoke. I'm physically disgusted about the mental health services in England. I do not feel safe here, and all they have done is given me drugs to sedate me, to control me. It doesn't work. I'm so mad. Get me out of this place. Later, she says, taking high-dosage antipsychotics and being medically slowed down has helped. My body was reacting so badly to trauma, it was about to die if I didn't have sedation. I was attacking anyone who was saying they didn't believe he hurt me. I threw a chair at a nurse and immediately apologized. He psychologically abused me as a child. So psychologically, she claims, not physically. As a child, and I met her when she was 16. So she was an adult. In a Twitter post, she says, charges were dropped because the crime was from more than 5 years ago, out of the statute of limitations, and there were multiple witnesses who would not speak out against William. What charge? There was no charges. I committed no crime. Being nice to a mentally ill person is not a crime. You say publicly that I psychologically abused you, but to the police you say that I had sex with you while you were underage. which is a flat out lie. If these witnesses saw something, why have they not spoken to the police when their identities would have been protected? None of this makes sense. Here's what she said to one of the other moderators, Stormy Summers. No, what I actually said was that I don't have a vivid recollection of the events because I was very literally on crack when I encountered William. I was very literally on crack when I met William. Okay. If you had read any of my case, you would have known that my case is over 60 plus pages of messages from a woman named Amelia Bell. Messages from a woman named Amelia Bell, who was involved with William, and she and he were grooming me from 2011 to 2012. William first met me in 2012 when I was 15. Okay, let's back up. William and she and he were grooming me from 2011 to 2012. In the next sentence, you say William met me in 2012. You can't even keep your story straight in one single post. And that I was with him from September 2012 to April 2013. Okay. My case was dropped because the statute of limitations. I have witnesses for the events that I was together with him. My band supported him again in 2013. Okay, but you were with me from September to April, and then now you're saying you're with me when your band supported me? Multiple girls saw me with him and also remember the amount of missing time. I have all the dates with the police, and they have had intensive questioning with William regarding these. No, they didn't. My case is currently closed in the UK because I requested to have a break from it due to my mental health. Okay. She was with me to 2012 to April 2013. Your band supported me in 2013. That doesn't make sense. In the same post, you say, my case is being closed because I requested to have a break, which is different than the statute of limitations expiring. Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, look. You cannot go to the police and request that a case be closed because you're having mental health issues. It doesn't work like that. Once it becomes a case, it's a case, and it's out of your control. Victoria's claims were dropped. The constable detective emailed me last summer and said he didn't have any questions for me, and they weren't pursuing anything. All they needed was Victoria's statement, Victoria's claims, to cancel Victoria's claims. That's really all that happened.
I don't know how to explain what was going on in my head when I thought to put it on, but I knew that the police did not believe me in the UK. That's what I didn't know. I felt that the police didn't believe me. And when I went to the police, I was completely off my face, fucked up. But it's okay. I accept responsibility for that, and I accept that my interview isn't the best it could be. I accept I haven't cooperated with them as much as I could have.
I want to say that I'm bitter. I want to say that I'm angry at this woman. I was in a band, traveling the world, meeting fans, helping people, writing music for people that were suicidal, that were in dark places, and I tried to be nice to every single person I encountered. And sure, like, probably having a 16-year-old call me master is inappropriate. It totally is, which is why I didn't want any sort of communication with her at all. Okay? I'm not into fucking underage girls. Disgusting. Fucking disgusting. I do want to say that I'm angry that this woman, this mentally unstable woman, did this, that she was pushed into this. But I understand that she's still in contact with my ex-wife, and she's still trying to work behind the scenes with some other people to take me down, to take away my banking system, to take away my PayPal. They tried to take away my big cartel. They're trying to ruin me financially. And she says, we extend the hand of love, but no, what you're doing, what you've done is destroy a man's life for being nice to you 5 years ago. I never wanted to fuck this girl ever. Okay? I never wanted her to be in some BDSM sex cult. These are ridiculous claims. And since it's almost been a year, I've done a lot of reflecting on this situation, and yeah, I'm well within my rights to be angry and bitter, but moving on requires me to let go. It requires me to let go of a lot of resentment, and in order to move on and be happy, I have to let go. And so, sure, this social justice warrior chick is still trying to work behind the scenes to fuck my life up in ways that she never will, because I've committed no crime. I've never had sex with underage girls. I don't have a fucking sex cult. So I don't have any ill feelings towards Victoria. I feel like she has serious mental health issues. Obviously, just from a few posts you can see she's got some serious issues with mental health and drug addiction. And I'm not going to pursue legal action against her for posting fucking revenge porn. Okay? She posted this blog with revenge porn, posted these lies, told the police that I fucked her, and she doesn't have any repercussions. She doesn't get in trouble. She doesn't get arrested. She doesn't. People like this, they just do this with impunity. They just get to just say whatever they want, because in this world we live, it's, you can say whatever you want about whoever you want, and it's protected under free speech. And look, I'm a staunch supporter of free speech. I'm totally for it. I believe that anyone should be able to say anything. But when they're vicious lies to try and fucking ruin someone's life because, I don't even know, because I stopped talking to you or I didn't want to have anything to do with you, this shit has got to end. These fucking lies destroy lives. And it's not about taking away someone's career. It's about taking away someone's everything, about taking away their livelihood, their family, their home, their career, their friends, everything. They want to completely tear down everything someone's built. And this shit has got to end. So, I hope that I've explained this to your satisfaction. I mean, at the end of the day, I just don't even really understand this broad. I was nice to her, then realized she had some issues and distanced myself. I didn't want to have anything to do with her. And then, in 2018, when it was fashionable to convict people in the court of public opinion for abuse and rape and torture, I fucking fell in line. And it's ridiculous. So, here we are. Have a good night.